Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. We're back with the mid-engine Mustang Fastback. It's made it back from SEMA. In today's episode, we're gonna do a little bit more fine tuning, get it road ready, and then rain or shine, we're taking this thing out for a test drive. If you're just joining us and don't know the history on this car, it started as a Bugatti movie car. It was used in the movie Need for Speed. It was a replica Bugatti used for the movies. We bought it, peeled it apart, put a Mustang body on it. And from there we started in on custom wide body modifications following the design of Karan Adivi, a really talented designer who came up with this image, and we tried to build it out in real life, pushing every hour out of every day leading up to SEMA, where it was debuted to thousands of people who absolutely loved it. We technically got this thing running correctly about one day before the end of SEMA, which is a 4-day long event. So in today's episode, we're gonna fix up any little odds and ends, anything that we didn't get to do right before SEMA, and then we're gonna go take it for its inaugural test drive and see how it does. Oh, also make sure you stick around at the end of this video. We got huge news for a big Black Friday giveaway. Don't miss it. End of the video. Before we get down to it, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by SimpliSafe. Boy, is today the day to do this sponsorship. It's been an exciting morning. But before I jump into story time, I just want to tell you that right now SimpliSafe is offering a huge discount deal, up to 50% off on new security system orders. Check out the link in the description if you're just ready to go. Story time starts right now. This morning, 6:21 a.m., alert goes off on my phone, motion's detected in my parking lot where I don't want it to be, and I start looking. I see these guys look a little suspicious. Notify the police. Police must not have been too busy because 9 minutes later, boom, 6:30 a.m., they're on the scene. Bad guys get arrested. I will add, parts of this footage are blurred. That's just for our own shop's privacy. Upside is we caught the guys and we stopped them from doing more damage because they were under the hood digging into more stuff. So if I wouldn't have my SimpliSafe system to alert me that bad stuff was going on, wouldn't have stopped them as early as we did. So I have on my systems, and I highly recommend SimpliSafe's 24/7 home monitoring protection. That gives you 24/7 protection by live SimpliSafe agents who are ready to dispatch police, EMT, firefighters, whatever you need in the case of your emergency. And that comes in at a cost of less than $1 a day, which is less than half the cost of traditional brands. And there's no long-term contracts, so you can start and stop whenever you want with no hidden fees. Let me show you what it's like to own SimpliSafe. So say it's the end of the night and I'm getting ready to lock up my house, so I'm just gonna hit this and I'm gonna hear SimpliSafe on. Home. And that plus the glowing light on my base station lets me know that my system is activated. Things like my indoor cameras, outdoor cameras, glass break sensors, and door sensors are all active. When they get opened, the alarm starts to go off. I just can't say enough great stuff about SimpliSafe. It's an awesome company that supported us for years and years and years, but also their technology is just awesome. It's super easy to install. You don't have to make any appointments. It gets delivered straight to your door. Their app is amazing. It's what saved me this morning. It's just great. I love it. I have it installed literally everywhere I go. And that's why they say there's no safe like SimpliSafe. So guys, hit the link in the description. It's on the screen right here. It's the biggest sale of the year. You can save up to 50% off on your home security system. Go to simplisafe.com/B is for build to customize your system now. Huge thanks to SimpliSafe for saving my butt this morning and for sponsoring this episode. Let's get down to work. Before we jump into working on the Mustang, a little bit of a SEMA recap, just quick SEMA recap. Where we last left you guys with the Mustang was Tuesday morning, the beginning of the SEMA show. So fast forward now, it's Thursday night late, about 10 p.m. And tomorrow night, Friday, we do the drive out when SEMA is over. And we wanted to get the Mustang ready to do the drive out on its own, which meant we had to get the alternator fixed. Now, funny story, we're not actually supposed to be allowed into the show at this point. It was too late, but the security guard said, why not? We'll let you in, just don't do anything crazy, which you'll see soon why that was kind of funny. Anyways, when it comes to the alternator, we just needed a simple reference wire. They need to have a 12-volt reference so they know when to kick on and when to kick off to not overcharge your battery. So we grabbed a wire, ran it to a local power source so it could catch voltage of the car, and we fired it up, and this happened.
All right, here we go.
That was a huge backfire. Didn't sound like it on camera, but that lit up the entire convention center. Sounded like a gunshot, which is one of the things that the security guard was really adamant that we didn't bring in there. I don't think we can pop too many of those off in this hall before we're gonna get security over here. So we got the Mustang button back up and show ready, and then we jumped on the wheel with Chris Fix and his team to take a little scenic tour around the Vegas skyline. The next day I was out hunting for cool cars. I found the Batmobile, which oddly enough did not get a lot of attention this year. And my hot take on that Batmobile is it was a cool design on paper, but execution wise, It just doesn't look that cool. I think Batmobiles need to be a little bit more insane. It's all about $750,000 a Lamborghinis, all wide-bodied out, which was interesting. And this Factory 5 race car just hit me, and I really liked it because it was a very, very well-used race car. I love looking at the interior of cars that you can tell have been used a ton. That's what I really loved about this car, is just how much use you can see on it. And luckily, our cars outside had a good crowd. And just as the sun's about to set, I found the other single-seater at the event. No idea what this thing's about. Then we headed over to Koenig's booth to do a meet and greet and film some content with Scott and the team. And just like that, that's how you fill an entire Friday at SEMA. It's already 4 o'clock and time to drive out. So with the Mustang's alternator working, it drove out first. And then I remembered we have no tail lights on the Huracan. So I jumped into the software for the Type S Auto stuff and changed those rock lights to be back blinkers.
You know how I told you we were stealing everything from Harbor Freight? They have a booth here. These, I don't know what they call them, if they're floodlights or what they call them, but they have a magnet and they are insanely powerful, like more powerful than a headlight. So I'm gonna put, they're magnetic, so I just put 2 on the front. We don't need strobe. I'm just gonna do that right down there to light up the back of my car. My brake light works. I'm feeling safer and safer about all this stuff. Let's get my headlights on, let's get out of here. Getting the Berticon warmed up. That thing on E85 cold Vegas night is not happy. I've decided right now we are going to do a full remodel on this thing, make it a lot more streetable. It's such a good car. We need to go smaller injectors. I want to get off of E85 so we can have a little bit more fun with this, make it a little bit more reliable, because that is a pain in the ass to get going. But we are going. But we are going. So now let's see how reliable this guy is. Well, this is one of the cooler rides in SEMA. Now, my front splitter was designed to be removed for moments like this, so this won't sound... Oh, I high centered. Because we have a lot more high centering to go. I'm gonna try and go in reverse, and then I can hit it at speed. This can't go terribly. We are cruising. Look at that active arrow. It's so active. This is intense. Full speed driving. That's a hell of a first test drive, huh? All right, guys, can confirm Oscar is behind me. We friggin' made it. The inaugural test drive of the single-seater. This looks like transport. You can't see anything. I apologize.
All right, now that we're back from SEMA and the car's back from SEMA, let's jump into some work. Let's get some work done. Relatively short list of improvements that I want to do on this thing before we're ready to roll. Jumping into the Mustang work, we just wanted to fine-tune a few different things that we saw as we were taking the car from point A to point B that we thought we could improve on. We just want to make this the best car that we can make it be. One of the things was the shifter. The plate that we had welded in there for the shifter was actually not really rigid and stiff enough. We wanted to throw really hard, crisp shifts in this car, and that plate wasn't doing it. So I told Oscar, just go build the strongest plate that you can imagine. Let's just overbuild the hell out of this thing and bolt it and weld it into the car, so that the shifter has no kind of bend flex feel to it. And with the shifter in there, we had to do one more task, which was re-lubricate our shifter cables. They'd become really stiff because they had gotten overheated by the exhaust, which was another thing that we wanted to fix down the line. So we lubed them back up and they worked great. The shifts throw really nice and smooth, but we don't want to have the exhaust in the same place moving forward. Before we jump into that, we wanted to jump into the steering feel. The steering wheel had a little bit of flex up and down. If you put a lot of pressure on the wheel, it wasn't feeling really sturdy, and that gives you a really good confident feel in the build. This was something that I really emphasized on the single seater, and I really liked it, so we wanted to fix it, and it's already fixed. Long story short, we added a pillow block joint right over that steering shaft and bolted it into the dashboard support, and it worked great. So now we're on to the exhaust. Car already came with some stainless steel exhaust, and that X pipe helps add horsepower, so we really wanted to keep that. And the goal here is to add more muffling because it was a very loud car the last time I test drove it, so we wanted to add more muffling and get the exhaust away from our shifter cables. They just really don't do well with heat. So DNA Motoring was one of our sponsors at SEMA this year, and they sent us out this exhaust kit and said we could do whatever we wanted with it. So we cut it up to use the nice stainless steel mufflers and bends. We just added 2 more mufflers kind of in a stack configuration and shot the bends down out to the back of the car as far as we could, hoping that that sound is going to do a little bit more of an echo off the ground and out of the car rather than banging around in that engine bay compartment echo. I could do some straight back exhaust or straight through the back, middle part exhaust, different things like that, but I really like the look of the hidden exhaust on this one. There you have it, the exhaust is done. It looks beautiful. After we heat cycle it a few times, it's all going to be the same color. It's pretty damn cool. Good utilization of the space that we had back there. And the last thing to wrap up was just that front grille. After it had been on transport going back and forth about 2,000 miles, we saw some of the wear and tear from the vibrations on there and thought we need to reinforce this a little bit more. So we got that done. And with that work done, let's do a quick walk around and talk about all the overall changes. Headlights now work. Coming back around, a lot of the work was done kind of in the interior. We've added sound deadening. We're going to continue to add more sound deadening and leather stuff in the interior. Shifters reinforced, shifter cables re-lubed up, and the steering shaft has been reinforced. Not too much craziness. And then the rest of it is in the back here that you're not even going to see because it's divided off, but exhaust has been greatly improved by adding 2 mufflers right back here. Since we were super focused on getting ready for the show, obviously the exterior didn't change much because it was the way we wanted it to. We also did a little bit more cable management and wire cleaning up and stuff like that, so none of that stuff was shown. Basically before SEMA we just hid it right under the dash, but now it's all gone and clean. Now this time of year for us Oregonians is the most challenging for test drive time. It gets dark at 4 o'clock, it's half dark all day long, and it's gonna rain every day for the next week. We've built this car to be a real car. There's no reason it can't drive in the rain, so it's gonna. We're gonna drive it in the rain right now. I'm really excited to drive this car. With its previous body on it, I drove it once and it was absolutely terrible, and I only went 1 block before I wanted to turn around. I hope it performs a lot better this time, and I'm not gonna be gentle on this thing because for some reason it gives me those vibes that it just doesn't want to go gentle.
This car's loud. They built this car to be a race car, so I'm not super surprised. All right, so it's really good looking. Obviously, we got that going for us. We did a decent amount of sound deadening, and it's still really loud. The other big issue is visibility. All right, I'm starting to get used to the car a little bit more. It's idling a little high, which isn't the end of the world. I lost the car. We have no camera car anymore. Well, let's just talk about how the car is doing. It's not scraping, so we got that incredibly low look without it scraping. We need to work on the incredibly loud noise. Again, we built this car to be a race car, so you know, we expected, granted I am driving around at 2,500 RPM, let me bring those down a little bit. We expected to just be autocrossing and drag racing this car, so the loudness wasn't so much of a factor. It's really bright. I mean, that's blindingly bright. If we're gonna try and daily this thing, have it be a car to take to the casino, we're gonna have to do a little bit of work when it comes to the loudness. The rock chip noise and stuff like that is actually not that bad, probably because it's rainy season now and they're staying on the ground. Like this is not too bad. I'm talking to my normal talking voice and we're chilling. It's the higher RPM range that seems to be an issue. We made it over a bump. We made it over a bump with no scraping. That's pretty epic. I gotta turn around and find the camera crew now.
Once I found the crew, we reunited. I was more focused on driving than talking. I figured I'd just do a voiceover like this and tell you guys how the car is doing. Visibility, I can't see anything out of my right side, so you can see me using hand signals in the window to the camera car. We're working on putting a window in the back there, and we'll get that other side mirror more dialed in. But as it was today, we just couldn't see out of the right side. So that was a note taken. The other thing that you're gonna see is this car seems to be kind of darting around the road a little bit. We didn't do an alignment. And remember, this is a car that had been crashed on a movie scene, taken apart about a dozen different times and put back together, and widened out by almost 20 extra inches. So I think not only is the front towed out, which kind of makes the car want to jerk one way or the other, but I also think that the two back wheels, while being parallel, are pointed slightly to the right. Tough to know though. All in all, it was a really fun drive, and I was having a great time chasing around the camera car. Started getting comfortable and doing some pulls, and then this happened.
I'm losing fuel pressure. I gotta shut her down. Pull over. Well, this is probably why people install fuel level gauges. Dang. Alright, that's the last drop. Let's go for a drive. Alright, added gas really helps. Let's go! Woo. There we go. Head back to the shop. Normally I'd be a little upset after like being stranded on the side of the road, but I'm chilling. I'm just happy it was a simple problem. We will add a fuel gauge. We will do that. There's a nice spot on this digital dash to put one of those. And the sun is shining. All right, that was a fun little test drive. Car's looking pretty good after the weather and everything for driving pure rain. We got no water in the interior, which is awesome. Everything's still looking pretty clean. I'm pretty happy about that. Good amount of spray back here, but hell yeah. We survived driveways, parking lots, ups, downs, highway entrances. Nice. So as I mentioned earlier, we got some big news for Black Friday, and it's this thing right here. So we've switched merch companies. We've made all new lines of merch. We're partnered with Power JDM. They're actually some of my friends, and they started doing a merch company where it allows us to give away cards, which is something that I've always wanted to do. To be quite frank, we got a lot of them. So I wanted to get this giveaway up right before Black Friday so we can drop everything, put it on a huge sale, and then everything you buy gets you entered in to win this baby. So what this is our 370Z drift car build. This is just basically a beginner 370Z drift car, or you could just use it for an everyday car. Works perfectly fine for both. It's got an angle kit on it, so your turning radius will be a little bit less than normal. It's got a great exhaust system, stainless steel catback exhaust, a wing on it, Koenig ampliforms, and we're gonna keep working on this car and improving it over the next 60 days, and 60 days from today, we are going to give away this car to one of you guys. All the exact details and the rules and the dates, and most importantly, the merch are all at bisforbuild.com. That's gonna redirect you to shop.bisforbuild.com. When you open up and start doing stuff like this, it opens you up to a lot of scammers, and I've been getting a lot of messages about scammers already. And let me just say this straight out. We will never ask you for money for anything. Never. The winner of this car, if they want to fly out and come get it, I will fly them out, meaning I'll buy them stuff, buy them more stuff. Or if they want it shipped to their house, I will pay to ship it to their house. I'll never ask you for anything on the internet other than to subscribe. No, I'll never ask you guys for money though, seriously. That's what scammers do. If you get contacted saying that you won this thing, say, hey, I want to FaceTime Chris from BS for Build, or I want a picture with Chris and a piece of paper with something custom written on it. Don't trust anybody on the internet. I really hate how doing this stuff, although it's a really cool thing, kind of opens up for people a vulnerability of scammers. So don't let this be that gateway. When the winner is randomly selected, I will attempt to FaceTime that person if they would like to FaceTime, and they'll be FaceTiming with me and the team to congratulate them on the win. If they don't want to, we will show them other proofs of winnage, and then they'll just get a car. We will never ask you for money, except right when you go to that checkout button on the website to buy the merch. There's money involved there. But other than that, that's it. So I just wanted to get that out there and say that. And we got new merch like this R69 hoodie.
with the R69 on it. We've got a full new line of tees with a lot of the new car designs on there, the new Supra, R69, Mustang stuff, bunch more are coming too. And we've got air fresheners and koozies and stickers, and we're gonna keep adding to the site, but it's all going on sale for Black Friday as well. So that's it, guys. If you buy stuff on our website for Black Friday, you get entered to win a free 370Z. Stuff's going on sale, which is a deal, and you might just get a race car. Double deal. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. Now that the weather's just absolutely frigid and rainy and stuff, I figure it's time to fix my yacht. And then after that, we have a new, unique type of build that is something we've never done before, and it's gonna push the limits of not only like our creativity, but it's another one of those things where it's like we've never done this and we're excited to jump into it. You can tell by my voice, like I've been working on the computer, 3D modeling this thing out and planning it and everything, and it's super rad, and I'm so excited to get started on it. We gotta get the boat done first, but then we're gonna get started on it, and it's gonna challenge us in a brand new way, which is something I always get super excited about. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Thank you guys for sticking with us, and we'll see you on the next one.